Deep down, you've always felt the call. Like you were sent here for something more. This is your chance to do something big. The Spin Positive Revolution is here. Welcome to the Spin Positive Revolution, where we're going to combine our collective spiritual magic to take the fight to Dark Mojo like it's never been done before. And we aren't going to stop until every molecule of Dark Mojo has been destroyed. And then humanity can step in to its intended purpose, and we can build the intended society moving forward. That's a wonderful thing. My name is Mojoe Mike Garrett. I'm a life mastery expert and author of the Spin Positive Master Series, where I train people to unlock their power as a light worker and then turn that power loose not only in their lives to absolutely master every bit of it, but to also help raise the collective vibration of the planet and humanity overall. Thank you for being here, and congratulations on your hard work so far. The Spin Positive Revolution is making a difference, and we are seeing the things that we are intending for in our intention set come to pass. There is definitely pushback now against this administration in ways that there wasn't before we started. And more people are awakening to the fact that what this administration is doing is wrong, and they're seeing things more our way, and we're winning hearts to our side more and more every day, and that's a wonderful thing. So continue the hard work, continue setting those intention sets. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. The universe appreciates it. I know it's another thing to do every day, and we're already busy, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and the universe would too if it had a heart. It would thank you for taking the time. Even though it's only a couple of minutes, it's one other thing to do every day. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. In this episode, we are revealing the third and final objective of the Spin Positive Revolution. Again, that day in my garden back in May, when I was hit with all of this wonderful enlightenment from the universe about the Spin Positive Revolution, it gave me three primary objectives that we are to intend for to happen as we fight the Spin Positive Revolution. Of course, the first one is global awakening. That is the single most important thing we can intend for. It is imperative that humanity awakens to what is happening and to this energetic struggle, and awakens to what is light and what is dark, so they can set themselves on the right side that they feel they want to be on. Most people side with the light. And even people that are on the other side right now, those are light workers. Every human being is a light worker. But unfortunately, they are oppressively blind by the functions of the oppressive institutions around us, to the point where they can't see the light. They can't see the truth, and they can't see the errors in their ways. It is imperative that we intend for that oppressive blindness to be burned off of each and every person still on the other side of the fight, so they can come to the light as the intended light workers they are. And then the second objective is to use our conscious power to thwart the conservative takeover of the United States. We talked about in the last episode why that's an important thing to do, and how ultimately the conservative takeover will end up being a net negative for humanity as a whole. So that's the second objective. Today we're going to reveal the third objective, and we'll be introducing the final comprehensive intention set that we will have for the Spin Positive Revolution. That's the big mamba jamba that we set every day. We're going to add the final little stanza to that, and then this will be the intentions that we set for the remainder of the Spin Positive Revolution until our objectives have been attained. But before we get cracking on that, and before we reveal that, there's a couple other things I want to talk about. First, I want to kick things up a notch with our visualization exercises that we engage in as we set our intentions. Now remember, as we intend for the global awakening of humanity, we are visualizing a light bulb covered in tar, and we're melting that tar off with our conscious power. That's a thing that we're doing, and it's working. Thank you. I want to kick things up a notch, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a little love into the equation. Here on Earth, love is the single most powerful positive energy we can muster as human beings, and we can throw out into the world around us. Nothing is more powerful than love. It's the highest form of light. It's the highest form of positive energy we can exude onto humanity and out into the ether as a whole. So as we visualize that light bulb, and as we visualize that tar burning off, not only are we going to send a stream of our conscious power to melt that tar off, we're also going to send a little stream of love along with it. Now, how do you do that? Just go ahead and fill your energy up with love and gratitude before you begin your intentions, and it'll naturally flow out as you set those stanzas. So go ahead and throw that stream of love in there. Let's throw that super powerful positive energy into the fight because we need it. We're going to need all the love we can muster in order to make things happen in the years ahead. So I know sometimes it can be hard to feel love in the face of hate, but man, that is exactly what we need to do. And once we practice that a little bit, it becomes easier. So start sending a little love along with those conscious intentions so we can throw that good positive energy in the mix. Okay, so and then the second thing I want to talk about is I want to share a little bit about the secrets of manifestation. And how do we actually manifest things in our experience? And I want to talk about that because there's been a lot of chatter in the comments and things, and I've been talking a lot with other light workers that are fighting the spin positive revolution about just how easy it is to manifest negative timelines for humanity as we talk about our plans and objectives for the spin positive revolution in order to protect ourselves from the advances of the enemy and in order to prepare for potential moves by the enemy. We've got to talk about openly and discuss what we anticipate happening, and we have to share with each other what our spirits are telling us that we need to be prepared for it. When the only way we can do that now, since humanity has lost its ability to communicate telepathically, which is how we are intended to communicate, and that's a longer discussion. But since we've lost that, the only way we can make shit happen is if we talk about what we need to do and what we need to accomplish. There's a lot of people who believe that merely talking about what could possibly happen in order to prepare, that we are somehow going to manifest those negative timelines into being. So I want to set you at peace about that today, and we're going to talk about how manifestation works. We're going to unlock the true secrets of manifestation, and this is coming directly from the core enlightenment. Everything you need to know about how to manifest things in your situation, we're going to talk about. Okay, so when we're talking about manifestation, okay, that's a very important tool we have at our disposal as spiritual beings. It's one of the spiritual gifts. I call it lubrication in the Master Series as one of the 5 main spiritual gifts that we are entitled to with our spiritual power. I call it lubrication. It's collectively known as manifestation, but it's having the universe or having your higher power intercede in your life in some sort of way to make things happen for you. How do we make that work? What's the secrets? What do we need to know in order to manifest the things we need to manifest? Let's talk about that. When we're talking about manifestation, and in order to manifest the things we want to have happen, we have to enter into a spiritual contract, okay? That's very important. Manifestation and asking for lubrication is a spiritual contract that you enter into with the spiritual dimension. And there are parts to that contract that have to be there. And if they're not there, then the manifestation isn't going to happen. So the odds of manifesting a negative timeline simply by speaking it into being are small to none. In fact, they are none. You're not going to manifest something negative simply by being, not consciously, not yourself. We're going to talk about something else later on that could happen from speaking and how we protect ourselves from that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But you are not going to manifest a negative timeline simply by speaking. You have to, number one, enter into that spiritual contract, and we're going to talk about the different parts of that contract here in just a minute. And number two, you have to put your conscious power behind that manifestation. Those two things are very important. And if either one of those aren't in place, that manifestation isn't going to happen. Think about all the crazy stuff people say and talk about on a daily basis, man. If they could manifest everything, it would be a chaotic world, wouldn't it? And besides, it's a contract. Contracts are two-way streets. You have to do something on your end to manifest. And if you don't do that, and if you don't do that very well, you're not going to manifest anything. The odds of manifesting negative timelines by speaking them and by talking about the moves of the enemy so we can prepare and be ready for it is nil. It's not going to happen. I caught a lot of flack for talking about light workers need to be ready because someday they're going to come for us, and they will. Not even 2 weeks after I said that, the White House releases something saying they're going to go after everybody who's not Christian in a big way. So was I wrong? No. We are dealing with a fascist fucking regime, and we have to understand that. And we have to realize that the same dangers that existed in Nazi Germany in the 30s are going to happen here if we allow them. We can't be naive and we can't keep our heads in the sand. We have to talk about what could happen, and we have to be prepared as a community to defend ourselves against what may happen. So we're going to have to talk stuff. Here at the Spin Positive Revolution, we have a war room where we are constantly talking about things and preparing and coming up with plans to defend the community against things that are going to happen. We have to communicate. There is zero chance of us manifesting a negative timeline simply by discussing things. So feel safe to discuss things. Before I talk about the spiritual contract, I want to say this. It is possible for negative entities to listen in on your discussion, okay? So say we are talking about some things, and if the darkness hasn't thought of it, it could pick up on what you're saying and run with it. That's why it is imperative that we set our intention set every day early on. Early in the intention, one of the very first things we do in the intention set is put that golden white light of protection around us. That white light encrypts your experience from Dark Mojoe. Dark Mojoe can't read or decipher a single thing you do once you're coated in that white light. Once you are surrounded by that golden white light, you are protected. That's why these intentions are so important to set early on. Not only does it provide you with protection against Dark Mojoe directly, it protects your experience from being spied upon by the forces of Dark Mojoe. Very important. These intentions have been specifically engineered by the Spin Positive Institute to handle 100% of what we need to handle for the Spin Positive Revolution. Very important. So as long as you set these intentions early on, and not only are you encrypted, your entire domain, your entire spiritual domain, and even your tribe is encrypted as well. So everybody in your tribe, as long as you set these intentions, their movements and their thoughts and their words are encrypted from the interception by Dark Mojoe. That's very important because, yes, there are spies everywhere. And we take a lot of care and caution in making sure that these intentions protect you and every other light worker. So be sure to set those early on. The first step to manifestation is that spiritual contract. Let's talk about that a little bit. And if any element of the spiritual contract is missing, the odds of manifestation are pretty slim, okay? And we're going to use our intention set as an example here. The very first thing you have to do to manifest your intentions is you have to put the spiritual dimension on notice that an intention is coming. It needs to know that you're about to give it direction. It's not always on and listening. Something has to ping it in order to set your frequency in alignment with the spiritual dimension. You have to be aligned in frequency for that intention to pass through. If you notice very early on in our intentions, the first words we say are, "Today I intend." When we say those words, when we say the "I intend," the spiritual world goes bang, uh-oh, incoming, incoming. There's an intention incoming. We have to pay attention. The spiritual dimension perks up. Any ethereal light workers in the vicinity are going to perk up and listen to what you have to say. And it also consciously syncs your superconscious, the spiritual part of your conscious being, with the spiritual dimension so you can communicate in a very clear and effective manner. Very important. After you've aligned your frequency with the spiritual dimension, you state the body of your intention set, and that's what we do here, this whole thing here. All these words tells the spiritual dimension what we want to see happen and what we want to manifest. After we're done stating whatever it is we want to manifest, down here you'll see very clearly the words, "so be it." That is a very important part of the spiritual contract. We've put the spiritual world on notice. We've got something incoming. We've shared with it our desires. The "so be it" is the stamp of our spiritual sovereignty, which is our spiritual power and authority to enter into spiritual contracts. That's a very important thing, and unfortunately today a lot of things work to strip away our spiritual sovereignty. That's why, in my opinion, the most important thing we do in Volume 1 of the Spin Positive Master Series is sever any negative spiritual contracts affecting your spiritual sovereignty, so 100% of your spiritual sovereignty is restored. It takes a very special intention set and a very special conscious process to sever those contracts. We do that in Volume 1, the most important thing. So if your manifestation power isn't what you think it should be, pick up Volume 1, go through the steps to restore it, and you'll see a big improvement. That so be it seals the contract. It stamps the contract. It validates the contract with your spiritual authority. Now the spiritual world goes, okay, all right, Mike has the power. He's a spiritually sovereign being. He's in the roles here. He checks out. He's got the authority. This is a valid intention. The spiritual dimension is then going to take your intention into consideration because it's a valid intention. Now, that doesn't mean that your intention is going to be granted. There are still other criteria that your intention must follow and fit into in order for it to be manifested. We talk about those in Volume 1 as well. And if it meets those criteria, then the universe must respond. If it doesn't, then it won't, because if those criteria aren't met, then it's a null intention. None of that is going to happen if we're just talking about things, okay? Number one, we're not entering into a spiritual contract. At no point are we putting the spiritual world on notice saying, I intend for these negative timelines to manifest. At no time are we stamping those conversations with the seal of our spiritual sovereignty, giving us the authority to manifest those negative timelines. So there's zero chance of you manifesting a negative timeline by simply speaking with other light workers about things that you need to talk about to protect yourself and plan for the future. You can do that at ease and without any thoughts or fears of any negative implication, as long as you've set those encryptive, protective intentions early on before you have those conversations. And from what we're seeing here at the Spin Positive Institute, these intentions last about 36 hours before they start to wane. That's why we do it every day. You want to set them every 24 hours so that you have that buffer, okay? And then that encryptive power remains. And at no time will Dark Mojo be able to pick up on what you're doing and run with it to tell other dark workers what we're doing. Because, hey, if they haven't thought of something, we could give them ideas, and we don't want to do that. That is some way that you could have negative timelines manifest. They're not manifesting them yourselves, but they manifest nonetheless because you have not encrypted your experience. Please, please do. And also, I want you to enjoy that protection that protects you from any sort of negative actions from Dark Mojo as you make your way through your day. Very important. Okay, so that's step one. You have to enter into that spiritual contract. Now, a contract is a two-way street, right? There's something that you have to do. Not only do you have to have the spiritual sovereignty to enter into the contract, you have to uphold your end of the bargain. Okay, what is your end of the bargain? As a light worker, your end of the bargain and your manifestative power will increase the more closely you follow the golden rule. That is very important. The closer you follow the golden rule, the more manifestative power you're going to have. What is the golden rule? Treat all living things with love and respect. It's that easy. Be nice to all living things. And the nicer you are to all living things, the more manifestative power you're going to have. That's your end of the spiritual contract. That's very important. That means follow the golden rule in all areas of your life, including your diet. That's a part that's often overlooked. That's an important thing too. We have to follow the golden rule in all areas of our lives to have the sort of power we need to manifest the positive timelines we want to see in our future. Very important. I know that last part gets some people, he just doesn't like people eating meat. No, there's negative energetic implications for eating meat. There really is. In fact, we're going to talk about in Volume 4 of the Spin Positive Master Series, what is the ideal diet for humanity, which has been revealed through the core enlightenment. But we've got to be careful there, and we want to make sure that we follow the golden rule as closely as possible, because not only does that give us the authority to enter into spiritual contracts and boost our manifestative power, it also improves our chances of receiving the other four spiritual benefits that we get from our spirituality. So that's very important. That's the contract. Align frequency with the I intend. State your statement. Seal it with your sovereignty with the so be it. Now, the words don't have to be so be it. The words don't have to be I intend. As you can set up any sort of spiritual contract you want with your higher power. As long as your superconscious and your higher power are aware of whatever words it is you're using to accomplish those things, that's valid. Some people prefer so mote it be, or it is written, whatever. But at the end, we stamp it with our spiritual sovereignty. Very important. As your spiritual power improves and as you become a more powerful spiritual person in time, and you develop a more robust relationship with the spiritual world and your higher power, You can consciously align automatically without saying the words I intend, and you can also seal with your spiritual sovereignty without so be it. But who knows where that happens at? I don't want to take any chances. So even though I've been a very spiritual person for a very long time, I still use the words I intend and the words so be it in order to manifest and enter into spiritual contracts. Very important. It's easy to do. It doesn't take any longer to say those words, and I know for sure that I've done everything I need to do, dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's to make my manifestation happen. Okay, and then I also follow the golden rule as closely as possible, and that gives me the power to manifest. Now, not only do we have to have the spiritual contract in place and all the bits and pieces of the spiritual contract in place to manifest, we also have to put our conscious intention behind the manifestation. Okay, we have to be an active member in the fight to bring about whatever timeline or whatever event we want to see. We have to visualize it taking place. We have to visualize the things happening that bring it into being with our conscious power. Your conscious power is as powerful as a deity, no doubt about it. You can manifest lots of things with your conscious power, but unfortunately here in the spiritual realm, everything we intend to manifest with our conscious power is checked by our higher power. So we can't just manifest everything. It has to meet those criteria. But that's only because we are flawed in the physical being and we have a tendency to try to manifest things that can throw us off our intended timeline. So everything we do try to manifest is checksummed by our higher power, and rightfully so, because we don't really understand all the time what trajectory our life is going to take and what we truly might need to manifest for the future. And we could manifest things that throw us off the path of our purpose if we're not careful, because maybe we don't know what our purpose is yet. So it's important that those are checksummed. But as long as your intention meets those criteria, the universe is going to respond and is going to make it happen. But we've got to use our conscious manifestative power behind that as well. I like to say that any sort of manifestation that the universe brings into our life, it's to help us get the ball over the goal line. We have to get the ball to the 5-yard line. Okay, we have to do everything we can in our power, including using our conscious intent to make whatever it is we want to have happen. We got to get the ball to the 5-yard line and do everything we can do ourselves to manifest whatever it is we want to see. The universe is there to help us get the ball over the goal line. Okay, so conscious power, very important. We're not doing any of that, just talking about the things we need to talk about to prepare for the spin positive revolution. So fear not, my fellow light workers. We are not going to manifest negative timelines simply by speaking about them to prepare for the future. Okay, with that discussion out of the way, I'm ready to jump into the main event of this episode, and that's talking about our tertiary objective, the third main objective we are intended to fight for in the spin positive revolution. And this objective is called Operation Olive Dawn. And what it is we are going to add a stanza to our intention set to intend for peace in the Middle East and to intend for a stilling of the conflict in that very turbulent area. You know, the conflict in the Middle East creates a lot of dark mojo that brings down the collective vibration of the entire planet. And it's been doing that since the beginning of time. There have been tribal wars in the Middle East since the beginning of its history, and those have been complicated over the years by what? Organized religion, right? This is another great example of how organized religion has negatively affected the timelines of humanity and the trajectory of humanity. Due to religion and due to tribal differences, there's been nothing but conflict and strife over there. And of course, we cannot ignore what is happening in Gaza. There is a genocide happening on our planet. And we have to use our conscious power in any way we can to try to put a stop to that and try to bring peace to that area. We simply cannot solve the modern mojo mess, this incredible buildup of dark mojo all over the planet, without some sort of resolution happening in the Middle East. And it's not going to happen on its own. The forces of darkness are just too powerful in that area, and the oppressive energy in that area is so powerful that it's never going to happen on its own. Oppressive blindness is thick over there due to the oppression and due to all the negative energy over there. If you've ever been over there and you're a spiritual person, I'm sure you felt the oppression. It is thick. You can cut it with a knife. And it is a big, big contributor to the modern Mojoe mess. And it must be resolved if we're ever going to achieve any sort of energetic victory in humanity's timeline. You know, and for the record, what's happening over in Gaza, the core enlightenment states very clear that there is no such thing as a God's chosen people. God loves us all. The universe loves us all. Our higher powers love everybody. Every human being has the right to peace and happiness and a prosperous future. Every single human being, regardless of race, gender, whatever, every human being has the right and is expected to have the right to live a prosperous and happy future. And there is no promised land guaranteed to anybody through any kind of spiritual contract, period. Full stop. Nobody is more entitled to any tract of land than anybody else. What is happening over there in Gaza is happening for greed and greed alone. And it must be stopped. And it's not going to stop on its own, but we can use our conscious intentive power to do whatever we can. And we should, as light workers, to use our power to put a stop to what's happening over there. So we've added a final stanza to our intention set, and it goes like this. I call upon the higher powers of light, love, and truth to intervene across the Middle East. May divine light pour into this land, entering the hearts of every person and dissolving hatred, fear, and vengeance. We declare that conflict is stilled and replaced with the radiant flame of peace. Let compassion, understanding, and reconciliation take root in every nation, every faith, and every people. By the authority of Spirit, we set the intention that the Middle East steps into real and lasting peace, now and forever. Then, of course, we end it with an open heart. I give thanks. I am deeply grateful for this light, this path, and this purpose-filled life. So be it. Boom! Stamp it with our spiritual sovereignty. So now our intention set is complete. This will be the intention set that we will set every day for the duration of the Spin Positive Revolution until we have achieved every one of our objectives. And remember, as we do that, let's visualize that light bulb burning that tar off. Let's visualize the light of humanity coming through that tar as it drips away. And once the light of humanity can shine, that global awakening will occur. And that is the most important thing. Humanity must awaken to the energetic struggle that's actually taking place. And even with that additional stanza, it still only takes about 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, 20 seconds to do this. That's it. That's all I ask of you every day. Please do this for me and for the universe and for humanity. We are powerful beings, and when we align our conscious power, great things can happen, and I intend that they do. Okay, here's actually the full color version of the intention set that I was supposed to be holding up the whole time. Oops. Anyway, it's available for you free of charge over at spinpositive.com. Head over there, download this, put it wherever you charge your energy for the day, wherever you meditate, so you don't forget to set these every day. Or if you don't want to download this, you can just read them off the screen. They're available there on the website as well from the Spin Positive Revolution pages. But I thought it'd be nice to make these available so that you can have these automatically waiting for you when you wake up. So be sure to go there and download these. Yeah, it is simply imperative that the Middle East reach some sort of peaceful resolution if we're going to get ahead of the modern Mojoe mess. It's just one more thing that is dragging down the collective vibration of humanity. We can accomplish that with our intention set. And now that we've introduced our final objective, Operation Olive Dawn, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about for this episode. Thanks for checking it out. Congratulations once again on the victories we are seeing with the Spin Positive Revolution. Lots of good things are happening. We'll have to take an episode here pretty soon and talk about just all the cool manifestative stuff we've seen happen since June 1st, and we've started this campaign. So thank you so much again. We can't do it without you. We absolutely must have your power in the fight, and I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Thank you so much. And enjoy the good karma coming your way for taking those minutes every day and using your conscious power every day. Good things are going to happen in your life, I promise. Okay, so you don't have to worry about manifesting negative timelines by speaking about our plans and talking about things to prepare for the Spin Positive Revolution. We've covered spiritual contracts. I hope you found that interesting. I sure did when I first learned about it. Those are the secrets to manifestation. If you understand the contract and you hold up your end of the deal, you will see your manifestative power improve. I guarantee it. And we've talked about our tertiary objective, Operation Olive Dawn. Be looking out for our first group meditation. It's going to be coming pretty soon. I got to take off and go out of town for a few weeks here coming up. And then when I get back from that, we're going to start locking down our first group meditations. Those will be happening pretty soon. We're excited to get those rocking and rolling. So be looking out for those. Head on over to spinpositive.com. And on the page there for the Spin Positive Revolution at the bottom, there is the group activities section. We'll put all of the information there, so please be sure to check it out. And please get involved with the group stuff. That's going to be super powerful because as we collectively do things at the exact same time, it's like adding wattage to the laser beam, and we're going to see crazy cool things happen. When we collectively do things at the same time, it boosts our power in exponential ways. It's amazing. It really is. We've seen the results of that at the Spin Positive Institute, and I'm telling you, it's exciting stuff. I can't wait to get on it. We're really close to beginning those. So look for those in just a few weeks. If you want to take your spiritual power to the next level, be sure to pick up your copy of Volume 1 of the Spin Positive Master Series and become the next blue level master of Spin Positive. We need all the Mojo Masters we can muster in the world out there spinning positive themselves and sharing that good energy with others around them to help collectively boost the vibration of the planet. Once you've completed Volume 1, you're eligible to sit for the Blue Level Master exam, and once you've passed that, then you're eligible to join the Spin Positive Light Force. And let me tell you, that's some fun stuff. We do a lot of cool stuff in the Light Force, and we'd be honored to have you in there. It's just like a spiritual military, man, and it's really cool. We're doing cool, fun stuff. You can win awards, all that sort of thing. And I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. We're digging it. Thanks for checking this out, and thanks again for adding your power to the fight here at the Spin Positive Revolution. Until next time, brave warrior, stay safe out there and keep spinning positive.